Now in the studio, the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, to talk about this development. Many thanks, Honorable Minister, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. Good evening, Nigerians.
We're talking about onions, and you know your onions. In that report we just watched, it was alleged that fake or substandard seeds are responsible for the poor harvest of onion. How would you react to this?
Well, first, we definitely felt very bad, very sad. That despite all the efforts we are making as a ministry to turn the tide in our agricultural production, we end up having very bad situations like this, which, by the way, was caused by a member of the NOPMAN, that is the National Onion Producers, Processors and Marketers Association of Nigeria. But we are very happy also that the NOPMAN did not just leave the matter like that. They were able to trace the member that went and imported this adulterated or fake, seed, and leading to all the losses that you are talking about. And they've handed that person over to the security, agencies already. But the problem at hand is the fact that because of this, there is a projection that 60% of the projected, output will definitely not be available. And our concern here is that, onion is one of the sensitive commodities in terms of the inflation in the country, and that's why we are concerned. But as a ministry, just like you had my colleague, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Senator Abubakar Kyari, saying, we've already anticipated some of these things because we've been engaging all of these people since we came on board. And last year, they made a presentation to us, and arising from that presentation, we've already set up certain mechanisms. First, the issue of seed. And I think just like, you saw them going to import fake seed, it was because the seed was not available. And one of their members thought he saw a channel and went in and brought fake seed. And I think it's important for Nigerians to know that as a nation, we have a regulatory framework. The National Agricultural Quarantine Services is designed to ensure that there is a procedure for coming in with seed so that you don't end up having the wrong seed polluting your own environment. So for that reason, we have already set the ball rolling. The National Seed Council, the National Horticultural Research Institute, they are already working on building our own in-house capacity for seed production, for onion, and most importantly, even for the other crops. But then the inflation-sensitive crops like onion, pepper and tomato, I think, are receiving a special pride of place in our programming, and we are hoping this year we'll be able to scale up whatever we are doing along that line.
Fantastic. Good to know that the ministry is doing something about this development. Now, storage has always been a major challenge in onions farming. How can we overcome all of these? Any plans from the ministry?
Yeah, well, storage is a function of so many things. And for onions, for example, I think the minister just came back from Egypt, where we had a trade, relation visit. And I think he was able to explore some of these issues. And I think we've seen a window where right now we are working. There's a technical working group that is going to work to see how we can also look at what technology to adopt to support the storage of onions, for example. I think the method we are using vis-a-vis the method that the minister saw in Egypt, it showed the Egyptian method is giving them up to 80% protection in terms of reduction in post-harvest, which means they lose just maybe less than 20%. So we are exploring avenues to see what we can do to learn and then to bring back technology that will help our farmers to be able to store these commodities so that the shelf life is longer, availability is increased, and that way the price will not be a problem for citizens.
All right. Because of time, there are actually so many issues to talk about, but we have to go. What's your advice to farmers generally?
Well, my advice is this. Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said, plant the right seed, feed an entire nation. So seed is very important. Therefore, farmers should avoid going to bring any kind of seed. Seed are normally developed for specific agroecologies, for specific locations, and we are doing our best. Our research institutes are there. When you are not able to get a solution, approach us. We'll link you up with the right location where you're going to get the right seed. And I think we are taking actions very seriously. The National Seed Council is increasing the number of inspectorates so that they'll be able to see those who are doing sharp practices in the field. Because like you can see, the farmers are weeping because they planted the wrong seed. And that's why the president was right in saying, plant the right seed, feed an entire nation, so that no one goes to bed hungry.
It has been very insightful speaking with you, Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi. Many thanks for being our guest on News Extra tonight.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, now let's see